Hey everybody, this is Rob Wilson with Performance Therapeutics and Prepare to Perform. I want to talk to you guys a little bit today about ballistic stretching and some of the ballistic stretching stuff that's going to be coming up in my program. As far as ballistic stretching is concerned, if you put it in the Googles, immediately what you'll find is that the National Institute of Health, National Institute of Orthopedic Physicians Research, and blah 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 is going to immediately tell you how unsafe ballistic stretching is, and it's right if ballistic stretching isn't appropriate for you yet. So basically when we're talking about ballistic stretching, what we mean is that there's some kind of bouncing motion going on at the end range. Now, first of all, just like any other movement practice or exercise that you're going to do, if you approach it without using your brain, your likelihood of getting hurt is much higher. Okay, so if you're doing this at some point and you're not sure if it's right or doesn't feel right, stop. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple options concerning ballistics and showing you the difference between dynamic and ballistic. And the main one being that ballistic, there's some bouncing on the tissue. Now, ballistic type stretching is most appropriate for athletes who have a base of strength because their tissue tolerance for this kind of stress is going to be much higher. Okay, so if you're not sure, start out with the dynamic stuff and do it until you feel more comfortable. Also, ballistic stretching is not meant to force the end range of motion or to force you into a new end range of motion. Anytime you try to force the body to a new end range of motion that it's not prepared for or isn't adapted to, the potential risk of injury is going to be much higher. So you always want to allow time and repetition to open up the end range, open up new space, not force. Okay, so you try to push hard into the tissue, it's going to push back or it's going to break down. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple examples of what we're talking about. The first one is like a typical forward bend, and if you've been exposed to Chinese style martial arts, like a wushu practice or it's a type of kung fu, you've seen them doing this kind of thing before because it has a lot of benefits and it really makes your connective tissue super strong and resilient. So the first one is a forward bend. So if I have my feet underneath my hips, and I just do what we would call normally a dynamic forward bend, meaning I'm kind of moving in and out of range. My belly's tight, my legs are straight because I want to bias my hip and hamstring range first. I come down forward, and at the end of my hamstring range, I can let my back go in a specific instance. I'll touch, come back up until my back is neutral, and stand. And I can repeat that. And you notice there's no like velocity behind that. There's not a lot of speed to it. That's the dynamic version. The ballistic version, I would come to my end range. And then use ground force reaction to improve my end range of motion, right? So I'll be using some bouncing against the ground to improve my end range. And that's the primary difference between dynamic and ballistic. So